doing cactus care, growing little cactus seedlings from seeds. I have brought different sizes of seedlings here. Some that are freshly sown, and some that are a little older. So today, I want to go through everything again. Seedlings that we have grown and containers where I have induced germination to get seedlings, to get the cactus life started. And apart from that, welcome to my live stream. Great to have you guys. I brought a lot of different things that I want to show you. Also a vegetable here. Hey mate, welcome to the stream. Great to have you. Thank you for joining. Yeah, brought, check it out. This is our chili. This is one of the chilies that we have grown. It's about time to go into a bigger pot, I think. And yeah, I'm just happy. Very proud with that kind of thing. It's going good. Living the good life. Sowing out in winter. I love that kind of thing. And yeah, I also worked on the water can, on the water sprayer. So I put together a working water sprayer, but it's leaking water. It can spray a little, but it's leaking water everywhere. So I still haven't found that perfect kind of solution yet. I once again brought water just with a glass so I can fill up water in the bags where we have tried to induce germinations. They need humidity, so I might have to fill up water here and there. But yeah, I'm able to spray them again. Spray the seedlings again. They get a few water sprayings per day. And that goes great. They look great. Have been fertilizing. Check it out. They are on a good path. This is just 2.5 months or something like that. We are not rushing them. We are not pushing them hard. Just giving it time, and allowing them to grow at their very own pace. So yeah, let's get started. I want to transplant this one here, the chili. I want to take it out of the bag very soon. So I brought a little soil. I brought a little pot. Don't really doesn't really need a huge pot yet. I will just slowly pot them up. Hey, good morning. Great to have you. Welcome, Dave. I'm all right, thank you. Doing a little cactus work and a little gardening work here, and I enjoy it. I always enjoy this time of year when you can sow out, when you can do a little gardening work before the actual season begins. Allows you to sow out. So yeah, and the one that I'm reporting now, this is a chili. Really the good kind of chili. Nice and spicy. It's not that I like eating it, but they are really cool plants that I want to grow a little on the channel. So yeah, this one is now in a bigger pot. I still potted up that roundish ball with it. Yeah, and this is the very spicy ones. Okay. And this goes aside. Yeah, let's get started with the cactus seedlings that I want to show you. I brought a lot of bags with cactus seedlings that we have sown out in the last weeks. The age is between 2.5 and maybe 2.5 months and 3 weeks, something like that. 2-3 weeks should be the youngest. Apart from the ones that are just that we have recently sown out and are just a few days old. These are medium-sized seedlings. I've had them a little longer. Also, concentrated in the corner. I don't like that. But they've been washed there by the water sprayer. Apart from that, they look okay. Time to fertilize, I would say. But they are just not big enough to take them out. I don't want to start fertilizing until I can take them out of this bag. So maybe I will give this another couple of weeks. A little bit more time. For now, I couldn't see any kind of real risk for the seedlings. Sometimes you open a container and you check if the cactus seedlings are all right and if they will be all right, and you can see that there's a problem on the horizon, and I didn't see any here. So yeah, I try to keep them in these bags for as long as possible. At the very least for 3 months. That would be a good time frame. These here are in pumice. Pumice is a great mineral medium for cactus seedlings. Very small particles here. It's a little bit more expensive when you buy pumice and you buy pumice that's already washed. And that just means that they already removed that dust. Sometimes it comes with a lot of mineral dust, and it behaves weird when it gets watered. Like that kind of dust, it works a little bit like glue and makes everything very compact, like a brick. Very similar to how peat kind of tends to compact later on. So yeah, and that is why it's washed. It gives it additional drainage. It gives it a little bit more flexibility for the seedling roots. So yeah, and they are doing well. Only thing that I always say, the moment you have them in pumice, the moment they get no nutrients, it's basically a pretty neutral medium, so they will need fertilizer very soon. I only have a few in pumice. The pumice has been a little bit too fast draining for the cactus seedlings in the past, so I have most of my seedlings here in sowing soil, pretty classic soil. Also, another cemetery soil was another soil that I tried, and it's just a blackish kind of soil. But that one had a lot of problems with fungus gnats. So this one here, this is a seedling that was really stressed from fungus gnats, was the only seedling that made it. I had to let it dry because the wounds that it had from the fungus gnats had to dry out first. You can't really put them in a bag again when they have fresh pest bites, insect bites. So it had to callus out under the grow lamp, and then now now that the wound has kind of healed, scarred over a little bit, it is back in a bag because it was too small, too weak to be taken out. When I'm slowly adjusting cactus seedlings to room temperature, room humidity, they are usually a little bigger, not much, but in the beginning, a month can really make a huge difference. Okay. Yeah, apart from that, it stays in there, still stressed, but not looking terrible. We have definitely given that seedling a chance for life. The way it was before, I didn't think it would make it, and the fact that it's still there is pretty good. So these here are all kind of yellowish. They've been like that from the beginning. They will get fertilizer now. I think I will take them out of the bag today. I want to start fertilizing them. I want to start spraying them. Yeah, apart from that, a little bit of moss here. Not a huge problem. Moss can get pretty bad, but now that we're taking it out of the bag, it should be all right. You can slowly adjust them when you take them out of humidity. Like I say, it's just that very young cactus seedlings, they need that bag. They need that additional humidity to stay healthy. They dehydrate so easily. So in the first months, they are in this bag, and at some point you will have to take them out, have to prepare them for the real world, and you can do that in many different ways. You can do it in a slower way where you slowly, gradually remove the bag, open it up always a little bit more, to just give the seedlings a slower change between in high humidity and then just regular room humidity. So, but in many cases, I try to do it like when I take them out, I do it for like I remove the bag within 1 day, and then I spray them a few times during the day. Just trying to spray them a little bit more often in the first days, because that is the time when they are the most susceptible to having real problems from being moved out of humidity too fast. And when that happens, you can always, at some point, you can still decide to put them back in the bag. So if things are not going well, just put them back in humidity. Okay, so these here, there are too many seedlings, like way too many. These will come out of the bag now, and we will repot them, single them out within the next, I don't know, couple of weeks. These are overdue for being transplanted, repotted. I try not to sow out so many seedlings per container, but sometimes it just happens. Okay, next one. Humkes Roro, discussed it a few times. You can see that this has full variegation, partial variegation, and green seedlings. Really a lot of different shades of green and everything in between. Seedlings, a lot of them don't look healthy. I don't like how they look. Just looking at them, my opinion would be that probably 1/3 won't make it. At minimum, maybe more. A lot of these just aren't able to really survive without having without the need to graft them. And I'm not seeing that. So for now, I just want to focus on the few seedlings that maybe have some sort of variegation, some degree of variegation. Yeah, and focus on them, because they will be a little bit healthier. Don't have to be grafted all the time. And in this case, I would love to take them out because they're actually pretty old for the size. They haven't grown a lot, but these should be 2 months old. For that, if you compare it to some of the other seedlings, you know, there's a problem here. Apart from that, at some point I consider transplanting them, because the soil doesn't really look, it doesn't strike me as super healthy in regards to pH. There's been constant problems with moss in this soil. But yeah, for now they are just so small that transplanting them could be a problem, could already be a problem. You might be doing something good by bringing them in another medium, but with how tiny the roots are here, that could backfire very fast, where you lose a lot of seedlings that might have had a chance. So for now, I will close it up again, but this is on the list of containers where I want to do something, where I'm really not happy. Yeah, let's put this aside. Next one. Okay, let's see. Looks okay. I'm seeing variegation in this one too. A lot of these have variegation, simply because they're very distant parents used sometimes. Some rather advanced kind of crosses that you wouldn't try if you really want to make a successful cross. What I often do is I try to make a cross, even if it has terrible chances of success. Sometimes you have to make that risky cross just to pollinate with something that is a little bit more distant, to challenge what you can do and what not. Because that also tells you about genetic connections, a little bit about compatibility, like what kind of a species works with which one, and that can already tell you a little bit about it. Not always, but it can sometimes. give insight into the family tree situation a little bit. So yeah, I would say, if in doubt, try it out. Make the cross. Try out what hasn't been done before. Really crossing the unusual kind of plants with each other. And the worst that can happen is it can be genetically troubled, like some of the stuff that we show sometimes. Okay, and yeah, I see variegation here. Some of the seedlings are advanced growing spines and some others aren't. A little bit too small. Some of the smallest ones in that pot are a little bit too small to take them out of the bag, and that is the problem. You always have to look at the smallest seedling when you decide if you want to take the cactus seedlings out of the bag. And in this case, the smallest ones are a little bit too small to take them out. So maybe another week. Hopefully these will grow a little. The soil looks a little dry, so I want to water slightly, just a little bit. And that also compacts the soil a little bit. Just here, sometimes when the soil gets dry, it breaks off, like breaks open, and kind of creates a moon landscape that isn't good for seedlings. Okay, so these will go back into the bag, but only for another week or two. At some point, they will need to be taken out. It's starting to get to the point where I want to fertilize, and I try not to fertilize in a bag. When they are in the bag, it's just a climate where you instantly also fertilize the weeds, fertilize everything that competes with the seedlings. So I try not to do it until I take them out of the bag. That gives the seedlings a little advantage over stuff like moss, algae. Under normal humidity setting, that dries up very fast. But in a closed bag with fertilizer, that grows very fast too. In this case, they look good. These are looking good. I like the color is okay. Let's see what it is. Hilde Winterer. Yeah, for Hilde Winterer, these look great. I mean, Hilde Winterer, part of Cactus, and they are some sort of hanging basket kind of plants, but with a definite connection to Cactus. And genetically, in my opinion, it's a bottleneck kind of situation where you have very few genetically different plants. So you have a lot of unhealthy hybrids, unhealthy plants. And in this case, from Hilde Winterer as a mother, the seedlings look good. I really like that. For that kind of thing, the seedlings are not variegated, fully variegated. That often tells you that there's a genetic problem. It's not really something that there are collectors for it. There are people that love it because it looks interesting. But just from a breeder's point of view, it might be a sign that there's more trouble hiding somewhere in the genetic code of the seedlings. And you often see it then. They come up already weak in the beginning. And when you compare it to something like this, they have a different Y-gore. I'm not sure how to say that word, but that's how it is. They just grow a little bit less healthy in general. Okay, so here, these are just a few days old, rather young, already on the sowing soil. Different kind of medium here. Sowing soil is an all-round mix, all-round soil to sow out, and I recommend it. Don't try to overcomplicate things. The sowing soil just makes it so much easier to see when you need more water or when it's enough. If you're working with minerals, that can backfire because they are often very fast draining. At the first sight of a problem, when you need to take them out of a bag, you will have to water quite a lot. These are very sensitive in regards to drying out. When I take them out of the bag, I spray them a few times a day, like with a water sprayer, misting them, and you can really see how they react to it. how the seedlings continue to grow, how they grow fast within just a day or two after you have misted them, ideally with a little bit of fertilizer. Yeah, apart from that, soil feels wet, so we leave him alone. I don't want to overwater here. These are also very close to each other, by the way. That can be good. Later, when the cactus seedlings start to growing a little bit bigger, they give each other a little bit of stability when they are close together. But it also, if there's an infection, they are also close together too and can get infected. They can infect each other very fast then too. Hey mate, welcome to the stream. Welcome back. Okay, yeah, I will put it in the bag again because they are too small. At this size, you can't really take them out without really risking that the seedlings will not make it. So I will keep those in the bag for a little longer, maybe another 2 weeks or so. 2 weeks minimum, yeah, but rather maybe 4. Okay, so here we have Humkes Roro, and this is interesting. Check out how, for one, you can see the variegation that's everywhere in this cross. Humkes Roro is exactly the kind of stuff that I was talking about earlier. Hybrid with Hilde Winterer and Echinopsis. And the Hilde Winterer that was used was called Nolla 2. And that one might already have another genus involved in it, aside from Hilde Winterer. I'm not sure exactly what the parents were used there, but it's already, that kind of hybrid cross where you can expect that genetically you might run into a problem. And but there are also green seedlings, and there's one very big seedling there. Check it out. We'll see how that goes. But that big seedling is really interesting. I'm not sure what it is. It could also be that this was seed contamination. That there's one seed during cleaning from something else. We will see how it looks. We will compare that plant to the seedlings later on. For now, I just find it interesting, and it's the only seedling in that container where I feel like they would survive being taken out of the bag now. So that tells you about genetic health. If you had that in nature, that just wouldn't fly. In nature, these seedlings, they would already be gone. The fact that I'm keeping them in the bag here, protecting them a little bit from the influences and from the strong sun goes a long way. Maybe we can save 1 or 2. Ideally, one of the green ones, seedlings that can also survive, that have a chance. I suspect that a lot of these seedlings in this bag will just disappear slowly over time. They just don't look like they are interested to really stick around. Okay. This one also similar situation, similar kind of hybrid, Hilde Winterer, weakish seedlings, and they are not young. Don't think that these are very young. For now, they are too small to take them out, like so many. Soil feels wet. Actually, there's stuff rolling around, but it's actually from the added root bark and stuff that shouldn't even be in there. But in this case, it's not a huge problem. They are not growing. That is the biggest problem. For now, I will close this up again. Like I said, no chance to take it out. And I hope that it will grow within the next couple of weeks. If not, everything that hasn't grown until maybe in 2 weeks from now, then we will start maybe fertilizing them in the bag. That is, at that point, I really need to push the seedlings a little to see what will happen. Some of them, if they really have life in them, some of them will show that eventually. And if not, then it's not supposed to be, you know? Okay. Decent washed pumice. The pumice, like I said, fast draining. This even looks a little dry when you open it up in a bag that still has humidity in it. And if you take these out and spray them, it will be completely dry within maybe 20 minutes. Pumice is really fast draining, fast drying. But right now the seedlings are all right. They are in a bag. But again, pumice doesn't have any nutrients. It comes pretty much inert. It has a good mineral availability. It has a right pH level. It can store water. But if there's no nutrients in it, it will not be able to give it to the seedlings. Okay. Next one. I will first discuss the stuff that's in the bags. Then I also have some that are out of the bag. And we will discuss them afterwards, you know. These here, also variegation. One green seedling in a batch. Seeds from 2025. So genetic health, probably. Incompatibility. Hopefully that one seedling will make it. I would still give the others a chance. I'm not really taking them out. If something should continue to grow and develop healthily, then I will give it a chance. But most of them probably will slowly just disappear, just shrivel away. They are just not able to long-term survive. Short-term, it's usually, you usually have 2 months maybe, where the variegated seedlings can still stay around a little, but at that point, you will lose more and more. Okay, keeping them closed. Apart from that, here's not a lot that we can do taking them out. They are too small. The smallest ones are just, they still have the seeds stuck on top of the, like on the tip, on the little head. So here's a seedling that expired that I just saw when I tried to close it up. I wanted to take that out. One such variegated seedlings, like the one that I just discussed. Variegation is great, but when it's a full variegation, it's just too much. It leads to unhealthiness. Okay, next one. Here I have transplanted. Those were in washed pumice before, and that one was too fast draining. Now I have them in sowing soil, and everything looks so much better. I really like this. They were pretty dehydrated when I put them in this, and you can really see that they are growing, that they're getting a color, nice color again, healthy color. Some of them were reddish, classic reddish discoloration. So yeah, I'm just happy that these are developing so nicely. They have spines. It probably isn't visible, but they have the first real spines. They are growing. And before that, I didn't see that. So yeah, they need to stay a little bit longer in the bag, need to recover a little bit more. But for now, they are on a good road, on a good way. Gotta be patient sometimes too. Okay. These here are a little bigger, and they really look nice. Healthy spines. One or two seedlings with a little discoloration. Again, discoloration, usually indicator for stress. Not, but still not looking unhealthily, you know. We could take them out now. In this case, we could take them out. They are big enough. They are getting close to the limit of the pot. At some point, we will have to do something here anyways. So I believe we take them out now. Start fertilizing. Because if they already look so nice, who knows how nice they will look when we start fertilizing. So this one comes out of the bag. A little bit more than 2 months old. 2.5 months probably. And now they should do well with the change between having like being in humidity and then out just room humidity. Okay, next one. But again, today I need to spray them. Need to spray them more often. Need to make sure that I'm not that the change is not so bad. The change in between coming out of the bag. In 2 weeks it will usually be used to it, hardened up a little, but until then it needs a little bit more love, more humidity. Try to spray it as often as I can. These very young Mamacita, some variegated seedlings, some green. We will see how this will develop. For now, I'm just happy that we have seedlings there. Very often with Hilde Winterer, you just have nothing. Some of them are a little small, like really slightly too small for a young seedling. But I'm open to. Sometimes it can also have to do with the father that you used. If you used a Lobivia, sometimes it reduces the total size of the seedling and later the plant. Also happens with Pseudolobivia. All these Pseudolobivia hybrids between a columnar and you know, Echinopsis oprepanda, Echinopsis calorubra, all these relatives of Echinopsis oprepanda, they usually reduce the total size. If you use a species that usually grows like 3-4 meters tall, when you breed in something like Echinopsis oprepanda, you will probably end up with a maximum size of something like 2 meters, nothing, not more. It just reduces the size. It is basically, you are recreating Trichocereus tulhuayacensis, like that species that, you know, that pinkish, purplish, kind of magenta colored flower. And it's basically a hybrid, a natural hybrid, because that kind of flower color, it developed somehow. Probably because there was a plant in the nearby area that it was interbreeding with. Crossbreeding, just natural hybridization. And eventually you have that regional form there with a different kind of flower color than all the others. So yeah, crossing something in can greatly reduce the size. In this case, these are also looking healthy. Some smaller seedlings that were the reason this was still in the bag. I just think we will take it out now. I'm just tired of waiting. I feel like we have given them enough time. If the seedlings really wanna stick around, they will have to grow too. I will fertilize everything. They will get a little bit more light when I take them out of the bag. And hopefully they will make it. I just feel like this is a good point to take them out here. Give them that normal humidity. I don't want to have them in bags forever. Okay. Like I said, I get a lot of questions about when I take them out, when's the right time to take them out of the bag, and I never really have a plan. I just wait and see what happens. If everything goes all right, I just ride the wave. Try to 3 months, 4 months. If it works well, if they are growing healthy, then a little longer is a little safer. They will continue to grow, get bigger, and once you take them out, it will be safer to get them hardened up, get them used to the new humidity. But in many cases, something happens, and then I take them out after 2 months, after 3 months. Okay, so here, these are Pseudolobivia hybrids. Echinopsis obropanda-like plants. Very unique, by the way, very unique seedling shape. And this is a really good plant. This is from a really good cross. So I'm unsure what to do here. We could keep them in a little longer. That would be safer for the seedlings in regards to, you know, like dehydration. They don't dehydrate in this thing, but you can also not very well fertilize them on a regular basis. You know, when I fertilize, I spray them in one line, then the next line, then the next line, and when they are in the bag, that's a little bit annoying. You need to open every bag. So I try to start fertilizing a little later, and I would love to fertilize them now. Size-wise, this is this could take the fertilizer, but then I see seedlings like this one here. Here's the white. It's almost white, you know, but not entirely. It might actually be one of those rare variegated seedlings that can still produce chlorophyll, that can still grow. So might be beneficial to keep them in there a little longer. Yeah, we'll leave them in for another week, but that is then probably when we take them out. I don't want to do it, like, I don't want to have them too long in the bag. At some point, the nutrient situation will get worse if you don't fertilize, and that affects general health, fungal infections. Seedlings, when you suddenly have seedlings that are that have been in the same soil for a year or two, you can really see how their immune system gets worse, where they get more problems with, like, skin problems with pests. You will see these kind of outbreaks, local outbreaks of pests that a healthy seedling would usually have no problem with. They can often kind of withstand that. They are spiny, they are protected a little bit. But if they haven't gotten nutrients in a year, for example, then that will instantly, it will first show on stuff like skin problems. That is often for me a sign, you know, but when I work with small pots and I try to get them to flower in a small pot, but the moment I see the flower and in case of a plant that I want to keep, I instantly need to repot it. I do not work with small pots long term. I just generally try to I know that you can get plants to flower in very small pots. It isn't a problem to get them to flower, but long term, you know, you will have healthy flowering plants in the beginning, but long term, the moment they are root bound and you're not filling up, they will constantly worsen. Just worse performance, worse flowering, worse general health. So the moment I decide to work with a plant, I pot it up bigger. I actually have repotted more than I ever had, like last year. So make sure that if you see a lot of problems, like skin problems in small pots, that would be my first gut instinct, to fix that, to pot up, to have a better soil, good soil with nutrients, that is loose, that is, you know, that the roots can take it in. Okay, these look good, not so old. They are green. But I feel like they should be bigger, you know? These should be bigger. It's not that they have extreme like when I look at them, that the color doesn't look healthy. They kind of look healthy, some of them, but I really believe something is genetically happening here. They're growing way too slow. So let me see what it is. Validus, yeah, Echinopsis valida. And like last year, I made a few crosses with it again. Always with flower hybrids as father, because I want to have that validus with a good flower that I can really utilize when I'm breeding. But these are really tiny. Could also be that that cross that I made, again, that the father influenced that cross so much that the size got smaller, like that the seedlings got smaller in the next generation by just, if you use a father that is rather small, Lobivia, Pseudo-Lobivia, it might start off early, like in the very first weeks, that you already have those tiny seedlings. Okay, this one is pretty full, and I want to take them out. I want to take them out of the humidity now. The reason is it's getting too full. It's getting too full at some point, somewhere. Luck will run out. These also need to be transplanted. Most of the seedlings, most of the containers that are so full of seedlings, they are good. They are the kind of seedlings where I really should think about transplanting them all, keeping them all. I think this should be split up maybe in 3 containers, 3, 4. And if you really wanted to single it out well, you would have a lot of containers there just from that one. Growing cactus seedlings takes a lot of space very fast. And that is also what we're showing, you know. We just started in like 2.5 months ago. Everything you see here is 2.5 months. It's just 2.5 months old. We already have that kind of empire of cactus seedlings, and they are everywhere. Every now and then I bring plants from outside, from the greenhouses, but the seedlings, everything that I have here, we started sowing out together on the channel. It's all from the current winter season. So these, interesting, also tiny seedlings, but they are growing, and they are growing with some sort of a health variegation, some of them. I find these interesting. Teleflora, some of them green look like healthy looking seedlings. I like what I see here, and when I see, like, at that moment, I don't want to change. I don't want to change anything, because the small seedlings are still too small to take them out of the bag. It's always a matter of, will the smallest seedling survive the change from being removed at this point? Because we don't have to take them out. There's no need. There are no firm rules. You can just see what happens and react to it. We are really checking the containers on a regular basis. If something happens in these things, we will see it. We will see it, and we will instantly react to it. So what's this? Did I have these already? Okay, this goes here. And after that, we will compare the seedlings in the takeaway containers, food takeaway containers that we have tested. Doing a relatively easy test. I've been sowing out in both, and later we can kind of compare the way they grow, the problems that we have. Will be interesting. So here, they look okay. Would love to start fertilizing, but it's not so urgent. At this age, they don't need a lot of nutrients. You don't need to fertilize excessively in the beginning. A little bit of fertilizer really helps, really makes the difference in regards to growth rates. People always look at photos by breeders that have a decent kind of strategy to have all the nutrients that they need, all the micronutrients, a good fertilizer. And people forget that you really need to fertilize on a regular basis, and more than like the general cactus grower that just has cacti on their windowsill, like has these echinopsis on the windowsill. They are always, people like that are always amazed when they see the many flowers that cactus breeders have. But the people that work with the plants, they water all the time and fertilize on a regular basis. Fertilize with a good fertilizer, and not just nitrogen. Pretty well-rounded kind of mix. Ideally, it also has a pH buffer. That kind of stuff is what can make the difference. What produces the good growth rates. Okay, so here in this one, this is the last one of the square pots that I want to open up. No, it's not. This is a very family-friendly channel. These are cactus seedlings. So everything totally all right. I'm sorry to disappoint, but these already grow weird. Like they already have this weird kind of discoloration. This could also be an interesting cross genetically. So I would love to have all the seedlings that I can get here. And but here's already problems with moss. And I would love to start fertilizing them. But with that moss in there, I would love to do it when I take them out. However, they have that weird size. They have been growing a little bit like dwarf species. Sometimes you have these really tiny miniature seedlings that grow much slower. Sometimes that is because of monstrosity, variety, like weird mutations can sometimes produce plants that grow much smaller, and they look a little bit like that. But I think I will take them out, and the reason is because I had a closer look at some of the seedlings there. I feel like they are suffering in humidity. I've seen discolorations on this seedling here. It probably doesn't show in the stream just with that camera angle. But I want to start fertilizing. I want to take them out of the bag now. I don't like how that one seedling looked that I've just inspected there. It had these classic discolorations that you sometimes see from fungus gnat, and that's why these go out. When I take them out of the bag, it will instantly minimize problems with stuff like fungus gnat. The soil will just dry up very fast. And I need to spray them repeatedly during the day. But that will instantly solve the problem with the moss here. The moss will just not be able to continue to grow. Apart from that, yeah, these are interesting. Looking forward seeing them. There could be something good coming from those seedlings, from this container. Okay, so let's do the square pots. Very young cactus seedlings from that were at the heater until just a few days ago, and now they are getting light at the grow lamp. For now, they don't look great, but maybe they have a chance. For now, the classic problems with the takeaway container, it's just that you always have those huge gaps everywhere around the soil here. I don't know why, but the way this is shaped, it's not perfect for sowing out. So if you are unsure whether you want to, how you want to sow out, do you want to work with takeaway containers? That is okay. I did it for a long time and we are doing it here. But these are the things that really shouldn't be like that, that make things unnecessarily difficult. It's not that it can't be done, but it's just a little better when you have that when the soil kind of does not have these huge gaps where seedlings can be washed down. You will lose a lot of seedlings like that. Here, looking good. Healthy looking seedlings, just a few days old. Tiny blips of cactus life. And in this case, it's distributed a little evenly throughout the container. That is what I like. And this is columnar crossed with a Telegonus hybrid, a hybrid with Sörensia telegona. So this is interesting. They're developing nicely. Haven't really seen any problem. And within the first days, it's best to leave them alone. What I will do now. This one here, I had transplanted them. Got into the sowing soil, and right now they are recovering. These were basically ICU patients of mine. They need higher humidity now. I tried to get them into wash pumice, slowly adjust them to normal humidity, but in this case they didn't take it well. So now they need to stay in there for a good month, just recovering until we can try that again. But the first try here, these did not do well. And that happens sometimes when the seedlings already have problems in the beginning, already weakened seedlings due to fungus gnat in that case, but also other stuff. Just bad care mistakes, you know. So in this case here, two seedlings also to recover. They have scarring from attacks that they had like fungus gnat, bite marks, and for now I can't tell if they will make it or not. If I would have them out, they would probably do not stand a chance. They wouldn't stand a chance. So yeah, these go away. Also under the lamp. These are same kind of seedlings, but a little bit more recovered now. You really see that they are getting their green color back. So if something happens, bringing them back in humidity is a real option. Sometimes, not always, and you always have to keep in mind that since the container was out, you might have fungus gnat larvae in there or whatever they do, like lay eggs, whatever, you know. So if you bring that in humidity, that can turn into a problem again. But if that happens, then at least you gave them a chance, and at that point you might be able to take the lid off again. Taking the lid off usually leads to soil drying out very fast, and fungus gnats just love that humidity. They need that humidity in the soil to lay their disgusting larvae. Okay, so here, this looks good. Healthy seedlings. Takeaway container tech succeeding here, at least in inducing the germination. Let me see what it is. Feathers. Yeah, this is good. These are good seedlings, good hybrid. We'll see where this leads. For now, and in this one, it's a little bit better with the big gaps on the sides. Hey, Robert, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Great to have you. Yeah, and in this case, it's okay. You know, you also need those good examples where the takeaway container tech works perfectly. It's not bad. You could grow them in the takeaway containers. You could grow in a glass, in a mason jar, the kind of jars that people use for canned food. vegetables, you know. You can definitely grow in glasses too. Okay. Yeah, they have been recovering. Also seedlings that needed to recover. Almost at a point when I can take them out. I'm very happy with the way the seedlings have bounced back here. Usually when I transplant something of this size into a takeaway container, it was really urgent, because usually I would prefer to plant in a square pot, and in this case I just didn't have anything else, and it needed to be done right away. And for that, they look great. I'm actually a little bit happy that to see them grow healthy again. You know, when you've been fighting for something, when you had that tiny piece of life that you've been trying to save, and you see it bounce back, that is a great feeling. That is really, really good. Sometimes you can save stuff that where you didn't expect it, and that is a nice thing. Okay, so these here, also young seedlings, maybe 2 weeks old. Some of them are lying. That concerns me. So let's have a look there. What's going on there? Just trying to look at the soil. If I can see fungus gnat larvae, I can see any. But this is damping off. When you have a seedling that suddenly, you know, is lying on the ground, it's usually one of two. Fungus gnats, damping off, which is fungal infection, or both together. Very often it's both together. And this is the sowing soil. They shouldn't be in there. So we will see. They are too small to take them out. Not big enough to take them out of humidity. So we will have to leave them in. I cannot see any kind of fungus gnat. Nothing. Sometimes you get damping off in case of overaged seeds, old seeds, or also poorly washed. Could also be that in this case I didn't wash the seeds properly. Sometimes when you have that remnant from the fruit sticking to the seeds, that stuff goes straight into the soil. And then you have a lot of sugar in the soil. Okay, so here, few seedlings, one lying, but it's lying there together with the root, with the little root. That is usually good when you see that. When you see a seedling lying on the soil, sideways, if it really depends if it still has a root or not. If it still has a root, it might have just fallen over. Very often I handle these containers, and I handle them, you know, like without any kind of sensitivity. So sometimes inside seedlings fall over, and it looks like that in this case. It doesn't seem like the other seedling that fell over from suddenly having no more root system. Okay, these are good. These were all examples for seedlings that we have in takeaway containers, and they are at the lamp, just plant lamp. Right now, when they are in the closed takeaway container, I do not need to spray them. Usually, they are not losing as much water as they did when I had them at the heater, which is naturally. You just don't have anything that is heating, like a heating element pressing against them. And they are developing nice. They're looking good for now. Not seeing any big problems compared to the bags. So now I'm going through a few more where I wanted to make sure that the humidity is right, to induce germination. You know, this looks okay. No seedlings. Hybrid Fast 12 is the mother in this cross. it's often the good ones that don't produce any seedlings. Unfortunately, that's just part of the game. Yeah, looking all right. Humidity is okay. No matter what, we always have that problem here. Different takeaway containers might behave differently, but I don't like that. The way the soil always is kind of in center, and there's huge gaps around it everywhere. Humidity is all right. You can see humidity condensing on the condensating. I don't know. It's definitely forming on the edges there. So closing up again. A little bit of condensation is good. Just got to be careful that the condensation doesn't drip back on top of the seeds, on top of the seedlings, and disturbing that, you know. That can often happen. Especially when you have too much soil in the container. That is one thing that really stood out. There were one or two where I put in like twice as much seed here, twice as much soil here, and at that point, the drip water from the lid was really disturbing the seedlings, disturbing them in a way where they didn't grow normally anymore, where they were crooked, looked really bad. So always careful not to fill that thing up too much. Okay, yeah, here also same. Nice condensation all around. The soil looks wet, wettish. And this will go to the heater again, but slowly we're getting to a point where they just haven't, the ones that haven't come up, they are just probably not viable. We will see that, you know, eventually when we're done now, after this wave of seedlings that where we're trying to induce germination, after that we will count how many didn't come up. Also none here. But overall, when I open this thing up and I feel the water spraying into every direction, like from the condensation, then it's good. Then it's how I want it. I really want to create a little greenhouse effect in this little container. That's the reason why you're doing it, you know, why you're using them. In this case here, looks healthy. A few seedlings that are from Arboricola hybrid cross. Arboricola zelli. 5 seedlings for now. And maybe we will get more. This can go to the lamp now. I don't want to have that at the heater anymore. The seedlings are just a little too big already. At this point, I'm already worried about overheating. I keep them at the heater as long as I can. But the moment I see actual life, I treat it like that, you know? I treat it like you have living seedlings in there. Yeah, this was a container where I did a test, a sowing out test to test the viability. And I'm not sure it did great. Thank you, mate. I appreciate it. Yeah. We would see. But this one fruit, like the seeds from this cross, generally poor germination. And I was very disappointed because that was the first flower that the plant had. And that could be the reason that they are so unhealthy, you know? When you have a plant that the first flower is always a little bit poorly developed. Sometimes the first flower doesn't develop correctly. And the same might be true in this case, like with the seeds, you know. We would see. I hope that I can get the plant to flower again this year. And then we will try to get viable seeds. And again, they are viable. You see, there are 1 or 2 seedlings, but that's just not enough. That's just not what I expect of my seedlings, of my seeds. You know, when you are sowing out, when you are planting seeds that are just from the same year, they should come up. And even if it's a little bit older, like a year old, that should still come up. Oh, Robert, how did it go, like with the cold? Let me know. I haven't really followed up, but in the last couple of weeks, I have seen quite a few plants on social media. People posting plants, like with frost burn, actual losses due to frost. I've seen quite a few, and I've been just before the stream. I had a discussion about it on Reddit. I was debating, like, there was this post of someone, check it out on the subreddit. Someone was posting a plant that looked like it had a sunburn, but you could see the frost burn below. You know, when a plant just gets frost damage, the skin turns this blackish green. It has that dirty green color, almost gray green, really unhealthy kind of skin color. And you could see that on the plant, and it made it obvious that that's just masquerading as a sunburn, because it's also a burn. A frost burn, frost damage is also burn, you know? So I was seeing quite a few this week. Frozen plants and all. Also saw 1 or 2 in my own greenhouses too. It just happens. Every now and then when it gets really cold, the plants just freeze, unfortunately. You know, I mean, that's why I'm using heater. But sometimes you have plants that are not healthy enough. When you use a plant due to frost, it can often also have to do with weak immune system. They're a little bit more sensitive to the differences in weather, in climate, cold and hot. Sometimes you can lose seedlings at every opportunity. Okay. Do you use a heater in the greenhouse? Or is this just unheated? In my greenhouses, if I would not put in a heater, the plants might survive, but probably not. A large part of them would not make it if I wouldn't put in a heater. In winter, the heater runs constantly. When it's getting colder than 0 degree, then just freezing, you know? This thing is running all the time. Unfortunately, there are always species, always hybrids that take a little bit more cold, and they would probably be all right, but a lot of them wouldn't. A lot of the Lobivia, you know? So I have the heater, and I have paired it with a digital thermostat, and that digital thermostat kicks in at 1 degree Celsius, just above freezing. And it usually keeps them healthy throughout the winter, but you will always lose some. Yeah, okay. These will go to the heater again. I have fewer and fewer at the heater with the inducing germination and all that. A lot of them have come up by now. And the rest will follow. So yeah, I hope you guys are all right with that sudden kind of influx of cold weather. It's probably really dangerous for the people who live at places that don't get that on a regular basis, that just recently started to get these sudden winter outbreaks, you know. I just know that every year in winter I need to heat the greenhouses, otherwise they would not make it. So it never really makes a difference, you know. They are always in a heated greenhouse, but can definitely, if you are not used to it, like when you're living in California and suddenly you have one of those extra cold nights, then that can be too much. Seen a lot of people covering plants with cups just to protect the tip, and in my opinion, that's a good idea. That works. If you are like, if you have plants outside, just cover them with a bucket just to protect from the worst frost, because it usually is worst at the most exposed spots, like the ribs that stand out. The tip often stands out. If you can protect the tips, that already goes a long way. It always takes a while until you have that extreme cold temperature also at the root system. So yeah, protecting the tips is what I would do all the time. If we're getting cold, just covering them with little cups everywhere might actually make a big difference. So yeah, if you guys want to like have any questions, I'm happy to take them. I think I've worked everything here that I wanted to do. I still have seeds that I could clean. So let me see what we have, right? I want to get started with the seeds very soon. Doing seed cleaning, packing seeds in the next couple weeks. Okay, this is nothing. Here's a lobevia fruit. So yeah, next couple of weeks we will be starting just packing seed packs, different kind of lobevia, Cerenzia, all kind of multi-hybrid stuff. Nothing problematic, but I want to start packing. I really want to get them to the people before everything becomes unviable. So that will be the job very soon. So right now I'm just cleaning a little lobevia fruit here. I still gotta catch up a little. Still have a bunch to clean from the last season, 2025 cactus season. But we're getting there slowly over time. I wanted to say I have been doing a lot more videos recently again. I'm gearing up again with the videos, so there might be new stuff coming very soon on the channel. There's been work in the garden outside, creating light for the greenhouses. And yeah, very soon, now we have February, and in March the new cactus season begins. So this is the last month, probably, roughly, where we're fully inside. And then the work for the new season begins. The prep work, the watering work, and that will be interesting. Okay. So long term, next time, maybe we're packing seeds. I definitely want to check the containers again, but I believe we now have the humidity right for those, for these, where we just try to induce germination, and a lot of them might not be viable. I'm at that point now where I don't want to waste a lot of time with them anymore. If they don't come up, then that's okay. Then we're going with something else, Then we're growing something different. Growing something else. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new season. I'm looking forward to the time-lapse videos. I have a new camera. I have a new camera that I can use to film. And yeah, better video quality and all that. I'm working on that. I'm working on a better audio quality. I want to buy a microphone here, like to put here, that allows me to that I don't have to scream all the time. So yeah, will be hopefully will be a good season, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, yeah, these may be 30 seeds, 30 Lobivia seeds. I couldn't find my piece of paper that I always have to clean seeds, so I will do that later. But seeds are back on the menu, I think. Just has to be. There's not a lot of time left, and I realized that. And yeah, we've been taking down a few trees. The neighbor has been kind enough to help me with the trees. Some of the big ones from the other side, you know, that take away a lot of light. So we might have a little bit more light in the new season. Greenhouses need to be cleaned because they are green, you know, like that algae. I need to scrub it off manually, and I hate to do it, but I just have to do it this month. And yeah, then March 15th we're starting on, like, new season will start on that day. I will do a little video just to say, hey guys, welcome back to Cactus season 2026, and that's the plan for the next month. So yeah, guys, I think I'm going offline, and I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we will do more of the seed, more of the seedlings here that have been watered and fertilized. By the way, I completely forgot the ones that are outside the containers that I wanted to show you that are fertilized. Let me end this video by doing that, okay? And tomorrow we will discuss them a little bit more in detail. Everything that I took out, I fertilized, and they are really starting to develop nicely. This feels like Mossman, you know, the Masters of the Universe figure Mossman. Really nice spines, a lot of thin spines. They are all growing very nicely. They really develop nicely with the new fertilizer. The only thing that is really important is to fertilize on a regular basis. Water them on a regular basis, fertilize maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. That's already enough, or even once a week, but in tiny concentration, like not in a concentration where it can be too much for the seedling, where it kind of damages the seedling. This one here was fertilized, I think, or is the one that is supposed to be fertilized. One of them got fertilizer, the other didn't. You can really see the difference sometimes. So long term, I want to start fertilizing now. And the fertilizer that I'm using is a pretty all-round fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, pH level, and the value is like 8,830, I think. NPK 8,830, something like that, or 11,1130, something like that. But the high value in K is really good for just healthy cell growth. And in my opinion, it also greatly affects the flowering. So yeah, they are developing nicely. Okay, guys. Yeah, this is the end of my stream. Thank you for being here. Thank you for always being here. Always fun to do it. And I will be back tomorrow doing another stream. I will continue with the indoor streaming until the time is to stream from outside with the flowers. And I mean, on March 15th, the whole watering starts, but I might not full-time stream from outside yet. We will start slowly, just streaming a little, streaming during watering, and then maybe a week later again, like that. The moment we get the first flowers in, maybe in April or beginning of May, then I will leave the stream out on the plants, on the flowers. Okay, guys. Thank you. Take care until tomorrow. Thank you all. Have a great day. Have a great week. Thank you.